Hello, hello, come in and warm your arse by the fire, and welcome to This Much Is True, the podcast you can eat between meals. I am your host with the most, Mark Manning here, without the aid of a safety net and stereo, shitty video and audio just now, not what you're used to, but we'll have to wait, as I said, until Steve comes home. That's if he's able to work miracles, like Moses and stuff, when he parted the sea, and he parted his legs and stuff. So how's it going? Is everybody good? Have you had a good week? I said I'd show up like a bad penny, and true to my word, I have. You dirty looking agent. Imagine Elvis Presley swearing in Irish like, "Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, you dirty looking agent. Would you mind, I've just left the building, you gobshite. I'm not going to be back no more. Thanks very much. Thank you very much, you dirty looking agent, you know." That's what we say, a dirty looking agent. Now that's an old one. But can't you just imagine Elvis's mush-mouthed southern charm? "Thank you very much, you dirty looking agent. Fuck you on the horse you rode in on. Elvis, you're swearing in Irish." "No, sir. I was never lewd. You dirty looking agent. Thank you very much. You gobshite." I know. Well, it's 20 to 10 at the moment, but in old money, it's 20 to 11, because as you know, the hour went back. And that's always exciting for me, as I shift my bulk up on top of couches in the house to get at the clocks, you see, and to change them. I nearly break my bollocks. I nearly broke my bollocks trying to fix that clock, sir. I know my mama always said a broken clock is right twice a day. But I do. And I've been productive today. We all had colds in the house, but my wife had been pretty laid low. So she spent a lot of the day in bed, and then she got up and made the dinner. But I was very good. I cleaned the house. What are we going to talk about on today's show? Well, how about phones that keep getting lost? If I had my old mixer here, I would hit a button and it went, but I haven't, because I'm relegated to this. Which isn't a bad mic, by the way. In fact, it's quite good. Oh yeah. So yeah, colds are. I'm dying with one as well. A lot of, I don't want to get into details, but a lot of on my chest. You know when you hear that kind of wheezy noise? Oh, a man and his aches and pains, eh? But I fight it. I fought it. I fought that COVID bollocks, and I'll fight this. And I just don't care, because I'm that kind. Do you know, phones getting lost. That's just a resume here. And also, my cat is peeing all over the place. So let's get started with phones getting lost. I have a darling daughter of mine, very beloved, currently in New York. And she must hold, up until very recently, the Guinness Book of Records for losing her phones. Her phone. In fact, I said, "You don't have a phone, you have a boomerang." And she sent me a text back. This was after one of the most recent losses. She sent me a text back saying, "Yeah, well, you see, the trick there, Dad, is have a crappy phone that nobody wants." And this was after she was at a gig in Philadelphia, and somebody had got drunk and taken her phone by mistake. But she's used to losing her phones. Her phone! Keep to the point. The phone has been lost and returned up until recently a total of 14 times, because the most recent, it was in the back of an Uber somewhere in New York, and it's still probably there. So she's working on getting another one, despite all our hints about having a crappy phone. Can you believe that, though? I said, "You have a boomerang, not a phone." And she said, "The trick is to have a crappy phone, Dad, that nobody wants." I thought that was very witty, because it came within like a nanosecond of my text. But can you get a device? And I know you can kind of search for a phone some way, but can you, if you had like a little wristband thing, of course, then they'd be saying, "Oh, that's restraining me." And yes, I could see how you're your wrist could get restrained all right by a device on it. Not that I know anything about that. Right? Purely for research purposes, I've come to that conclusion. And so, yeah, it was 14 times too many. Number 15. And I wouldn't mind, she'd only gotten it back. Somebody sent it back from Philadelphia to New York for her with an apology saying, I got slightly drunk, I took your phone by mistake. She got it back. And within a week, it's gone again. And you know, part of me, I shouldn't say it, part of me is happy. Because it might, but I doubt it. It's in her DNA, I think. It's where she's at. She will lose phones. And I'm going, get a fancy one now. And hang on to it and appreciate it. Now, we have to talk about Marvin. He's been peeing everywhere recently. One proviso. Marvin has been with this family since 2009, and that makes him 74 or 75 in cat years, and I couldn't tell you what it makes him in normal years because my mathematics isn't very good. 14 or 15 years? He has never. He's always been exemplary. He does his business outside, probably in a neighbour's garden, and but never. In fact, he was locked in the conservatory one time and his bladder was burst, and I didn't get to him for hours afterwards. I opened the door and he legged it through his cat hole, which makes him some kind of contortionist. And no, he did his business outside. He held it. But recently, something's going on. We came back from New York and he was doing a lot of meowing. A lot of, you get meows, but you get plaintive ones. Real heartstring tuggy ones. And so then, you see, we don't let him around the house. That's the good news. Unless he's with me, when I give him a bit of a snuggle or something, I'll take him in there for my own benefit. I love snuggling him and stuff. But he's confined to, he has a kitchen area where he just pretty much stays in his basket. And then he's a little entree into the conservatory. Do you really want to know this? I see you nodding your head. But anyway, you've got to stick with me on this. And the conservatory is lovely. It's all wood panel. It's all wood, full stop. And we got it done years ago by someone who doesn't do them anymore. But when he did, boy, did he do them. And then he subsequently went off and made a fortune building schools back in the boom in Saudi Arabia and Libya. So there. So yeah, he did a great job. But Marvin has decided to baptise the place recently. And I can tell you it's pungent, the stink. So it's not really if you're having your dinner, I'm sorry. I do clean up after him. And we have to watch him though, because it could be urinary. If it goes on much longer, and I don't want it to, it could be serious. I don't want him dying on my watch. Or peeing on it for that matter. But he's begun to do that, yeah. And it's not like a spray thing with a territory. That's usually when they're afraid, apparently. I've been doing a bit of research on it. No, he's just going. He's letting fly. And it's not good. How was your week? Did you have a good one? Is everything okay? Is your cerebral cortex functioning fine? I certainly hope so, you dirt old idiot. Because life is too short for other stuff, isn't it? I, again, am in my second week having been the producer for Scary Era. I'll put another link down below if you didn't watch and listen to it first time around, all 5 or 6 of you. It's probably more about 15 at this stage. Hello one and all. The usual crew, you all know who you are. But it has me focused. So I'm into program 2, which will go out next Monday, I hope, and it'll be featuring Banshees, the story of, as well as an interview with a taxi man who's a bit of a TikTok taxi man sensation in Dublin. He had a couple of scary tales, and beautiful newsreader called Bernie Jemison. Did I mention this before? Well, she's been on air for a amount of years in Dublin on loads of stations. So she's got a story as well. Do paranormally. So I'm hotfoot from LinkedIn because I post on LinkedIn sometimes some very abstract stuff. But there's this guy, and it'll narrow it down. I'm not going to name him, but he's one of maybe 2 or 3 billionaires in England. Now, I don't for a minute really believe this guy posts, because these guys have someone to wipe their arse for them, right? But if he does, for a guy who has millions, billions, he's very insecure, because it's always about, excuse me, fucking him. Yeah, it's always about him. It's always about his fucking yacht, and it usually leads with a kind of virtue signal, but in the background, like his most recent, yeah, you've got the yacht, we get it, and you've got the wife a quarter of your age. Well fucking done. Now, why don't you fuck off talking about the coal allowances wasted on me, with a picture of you in a speedboat and your lavish yacht behind, and your freaking wife, as I said, your cradle snatch on your arm. You might think that I'm being petty, but I just look at these guys and I go, look, you could learn a lot from George Michael, who gave a lot to charity, and it all came out when he passed. He didn't have to do a fucking lap of honour every time he gave something. And while your man, as we say here in Ireland, your man, is at it, maybe he should virtue signal by saying he opposes the slaughter of 42,000 men, women and children, mainly women and children, in the last year. Maybe he should do that and have a picture of his lavish fucking yacht behind. Oh, I was going, will I say this? Because I have kind of sniped at him before. And you'd be surprised the amount of people who come in and support you when you have the balls to do that. Now, I'm too old to be playing David and Goliath, right? And that's if you consider Goliath just that someone has amassed more toys in the pen before they pop their clogs than you have. Really? Is that how we measure success these days? How many things do you have? I'm going to get back to that shortly. Hold that motherfucking thought. You there to look in Egypt. You gobshite. I love Elvis, by the way. I have a few books on him. That's a really good one. Careless Love. The unmaking of Elvis Presley. See, he was just beautiful in every way. I loved Elvis. When I'm saying and all that stuff, it's purely in tribute to the man. So yeah, people row in behind you, and so he posts the coal allowance is wasted on me, like the Milky Bars are on me, and all these, and you'll see it on LinkedIn. They all, I like. No, you don't fucking like. You like because you think he might just give you some crumbs off his table in terms of business, perhaps. Because if you do like, you're as shallow a fucking tit as he is. End of rant. I said what I said. With bells on. I like this time of year. Oh, before I go, yes, I said I'd get back to it. I have an awful habit of saying that and then not doing it. Yeah, so talk about toys and trinkets and baubles. Oh my. I'm not even going to look at any more of them. So for whatever reason, I decided I'd record a bunch of these, lifestyles of the rich and famous or outrageously wealthy. And I was looking at, first of all, there was some kind of penthouse in LA with these big-titted bimbos swimming around in a pool. I'm supposed to be impressed. No, I'm not. To me, there's someone's daughter who's got the freaking IQ probably of a peanut and is just there because for now they're flavour of the month until they get fucked and in turn fucked over. So that don't impress me much, to quote Shania, and that's not a dog. I'll tell you a story sometime about dog story. So this huge thing with the infinity pool at the top, and the toilets. Oh, there's a rack of toilets, so you'll never have to queue in party time. That was a selling point. And also, there's an in-house special chef, so you won't even have to load up and get prinked before you attend the party, if you're lucky enough to be invited. If you're lucky enough. This is 40 grand. That's 120. That's 2 million. Whatever. And I, it's not the virtue signaler in me that goes, think what that would do for someone less fortunate. Because part of me likes to think, when I am lecturing to these people who would not wipe their bottom with me, right? When I am doing that, maybe some of them, just maybe some of them might surprise you and I that they actually do give huge time to charity. And I'm not talking about charities like fucking pharmaceutical charities where, there's shares involved or there's kickbacks involved. They're the kind of charities and philanthropy I'm not interested in, because me smart cookie, me read from books. These fuckers are in it for themselves, a lot of them. But just maybe, somebody who already has a Rolex, get this, which costs God knows what, it's a gold one, but apparently not to attract attention to it, the new fad amongst the uber wealthy is to get it put in a special oven, whereby takes place a chemical reaction, turning the motherfucking gold Rolex black, so it's more discreet. But also showing, ironically, how wealthy you are. You can afford to burn your goddamn timepiece. Oh yeah, it goes into an oven at a special amount of degrees, and it comes out black. And you spent over 40 grand probably on that process. You have got to be one shallow motherfucker, one child, one peon. Is that a word? Peon. If you think, yeah, no, I won't. I will tell you the story, though, about a dog and me getting into trouble. So it wasn't a dog. What happened was, I like these autumnal evenings, by the way, with the clock going back and all that. So just setting the scene for you, I was playing a Chris Rea record on radio, and I said, I love Chris Rea. He's a very welcome presence. He's like an old dog that just comes in and, you look at it and it looks at you and you feel reassured about yourself and your place in the world, and indeed the aforementioned canines, because he's lying on a rug by an open fire. I said, yeah, I love Chris Rea. He's like an old dog. So I came in to the station the next week, and there was two managers, and they were looking at me funny. And one said, can you sit down for a minute? I said, oh, what have I done now? And they said, look, we've got a complaint in here. I said, yeah, what's the nature of that? Which one is this? They said, you called Chris Rea a dog. And I said, I likened his presence to a cuddly Dulux type shaggy dog. And they said, yeah, we kind of know that, so we're ignoring it. But it could have got you fired. We're just letting you know. And this is where I laugh, because a lot of these are voluntary stations anyway. You're fired from voluntaries. I had this prick, and I'm going to say it now because I'm old. I've been medically compromised, and I'm thinking about it. I'm driving through. I'm on a voluntary station, and I got sacked on a voluntary station for saying, when I think back now, it was something so banal and open to interpretation, totally innocent. And this guy, who I wasn't even a proper radio person, they... Yeah. And I'm at this stage, I'm earning good money, and I'm driving along in my nice car, and I'm going through a toll bridge, and the phone rings, and it's this woolly jumpered, middle-aged This sounds like me. Behemoth. And he says, I'm going to have to can you. They were his exact words. I'm going to have to can you. Now, I would say what it was for, if I could just remember, but I know it was laughable. And being the guy that I am, it didn't bother me. I said, oh yeah, Grant. So I'm canned. I'm going to have to can you. Oh God, I do. I actually know what it was, and it was oh Jesus, it was so stupid. I'm not going to say it just because the radio circles in Ireland are very small. So, yeah, oh Jesus. I mean, I should have just said, will you fuck off? You know, as you get older, that's one thing that happens. Is you tend to have a filter as you're growing up, or if you're anyway brought up and polite enough by nature that you don't want to rock the boat. It's not the best of things to do politically, But as you get to a certain age, I've taken the stabilizers off, and it happens to quite a few people because you realize you're all heading into one place, you're all the same arse up in the ditch. You begin to realise, you can wink at the world, you begin to realise just how bollocks a lot of it is. So these days I have my fuck you button on. It's my landmine, by the way. Yeah. And if you tread on it, these days it's likely to blow up and say, fuck off. Just fuck off. I'm sorry, you know when you have regrets? I have no regrets. Yeah, I have. I have quite a few regrets that I didn't tell quite a few people to fuck off a lot earlier than I did. And you might think this is fuck off. What does he mean by that? You're a dirty looking idiot. No, think about it. How many times have you put up with bullshit? And then as the years go by, you go, I should have just said, fuck off. I was going to say something else on top of that, but I won't. Because I do retain a modicum. I'm not trying to retract, but I'm just saying I'm fine. But if you lay bullshit on me at this stage of my life, I will, with both barrels. Not that you really care, but I will tell you to fuck off. And I think the world possibly would be, now everyone's on a hair trigger these days, but it would be a lot better if certain people were told early on. You see, this is what happens. Because you let them away with 1 or 2 or 3 little transgressions, you become a victim. Where I can tell you, and I've seen it in life, the person that tells the person to fuck off quicker rather than later is the person that gets the respect and the wariness of the potential bully. I've come across a few bullies in my time. The worst ones are the passive-aggressive ones. The big bullies you can really justifiably tell to fuck off. But the passive-aggressive ones kind of cover their arse by just being on the right side of proper, so it could be open to interpretation if they step on your verbal fuck-off landmine. Now, I've used that word far too often for tonight, so I'm going to say goodbye. Do check out the Scary Era link at the bottom if you haven't already looked at it. If you like these, like and subscribe to the goddamn things, because I'm beginning to wonder why it's a discipline, I guess. Why I even bother showing up. It's not I'm feeling wanty or needy. I'm just saying, what's the point? Do you get any merit from it? If so, you've comments below. I prefer, though, if you go, this much is true, at protonmail.com. Give me your paranormal stories as well. I'm collecting them. Hopefully, we'll have sound and vision properly. I like this. I'm getting used to this. I like it. It was given to me by someone very special, and he knows who he is. And it's good. It's not the worst mic by any means. It's just that I like my toys. And my other toys. I can show you this now. That's my AverMedia. I mean, that's what gives the wide-angle shot. See, it's got a little privacy window on it. That ain't cheap. unlike this show.
Well, thanks very much for joining me. Way back, myself and a few men, we took a holiday, a vacation in the woods, and we lined up every man jack of the people there, and we told them to fuck off. They're looking Egypts.
Oh, we have to finish, don't we? Like the 1970s programs I was telling you about, where they freeze frame, and then that's the end of the show. So, anyway, take care of yourselves, because I care. I'll hopefully be back next week, if I could be bothered, my arse. And have a great time during the week. Enjoy the autumnal evenings and all that stuff. Because when we get together next week, it's gonna be murder.